In SolidWorks, you can actually make curve using X, Y, and Z coordinates. Now, if you know the coordinate value, you can definitely add it and then you'll end up with a curve. So far, we've used the direct method of using these, well, simple 2D geometrical shapes, but now let's use the coordinates for making the curve. And to do that, go to Insert, Curve, and select Curve through XYZ points. Now that's going to open this file here, and here all you need to do is specify the X, Y, and Z coordinate values and you'll end up with your curve. So here maybe let's start with 0 for X and 0 for Y and 0 for Z. Now for the second line, I'm going to double click here and I'll add 0 for X, but for Y I'll use a value of 10 unit. All right, and for Z I'll leave it at 0. Then for the third line, and as you can see the curve has started, so I'm going to use 10 for X and 5 for Y. So for this I'm going to use 5. All right, and I'll use one more point here. I'll use 0 for X and 5 for Y. All right, now with all these parameters, what do we have? Well, just click OK. And this is the curve that we now have. So this curve is a spline curve which will follow all the points that we specified. So we've specified the 4 points and it's just going to follow all the points that we specified to make this curve. So if you know the exact coordinates, add it and you're going to end up with this. If however you don't want this, and if you already have a chart or maybe a list of XYZ coordinates, you can add it directly. Let me show you how it works. Now for that, I already have this txt file that contains the X, Y, and Z coordinates here for some kind of curve. And here the X coordinate is this, followed by space character, then Y coordinate, space character, and then Z character. So the Z is 0. So the Z value is 0, which means we are just making this curve along X and Y plane. All right, now let's try making it. Now, instead of just copying and pasting this value, you can actually use an inbuilt feature here to import it. So here I'll just delete this and I'll start again. So insert, curve, and curve through XYZ points. And now here we have an option called browse, just select and now locate that file. But before I do that, I'll click this drop down and select txt because that's a txt file. So we need to just select that. And here we have this new curve file that we need to select. So select new curve, click open, and there it is. It will automatically fill this entire table. So everything is done. Just click OK and we now have the curve. So double click your middle mouse wheel to just bring it in the drawing area and here it is. So it will just make that curve out of all the coordinates that we have in the txt file. Now this is especially helpful if you want to make a specialized kind of curve using a ready-made set of coordinate points.